or at Barnes & Noble DVD locations.
I'm Robert Osborne. Every Monday since September 2nd, we've been showing you the first 11 chapters of the documentary series, The Story of Film and Odyssey. With each segment, we've seen how the movies have changed from the turn of the 20th century up to the 1970s, both in the U.S. and around the world. Right now we have Chapter 12, which is about the films of the 1980s. Now, not only were movies changing again, but also changing what was going on in the world to make that happen. Back with me is Mark Cousins, the writer, director, and narrator of the entire 15-part series. Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you, Robert.
Now, you start this about protesting in the movies with a segment with Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. Why did you pick them to start this chapter?
I think in the English-speaking world in the 1980s, there was a political shift. Everyone agrees, you know, and it became a time where money became more of an issue for society, and a lot of the filmmakers reacted against that. Certainly, where I live in the UK, we had a whole generation of filmmakers who were trying to challenge those social and political changes. And also here in North America, we had filmmakers like Spike Lee and John Sayles who were saying, look, what's going on in the marketplaces and the money world doesn't quite reflect what's happening in the lives for African Americans and for working class people, all the different diverse types of people throughout North America. So that was very interesting. And that's just the start. Then you jump to China, and you see China was opening its society a bit. A whole new generation of filmmakers came along, and then Tiananmen Square happened, and all that closed down again. And then if you look in the USSR, Gorbachev, perestroika, and opening there, and new filmmakers saying new things there. So it started to look to me that all around the world, some of the best filmmakers were protesting or reflecting social change.
There was so much going on during that period, the 80s. Was there a lot that you had that you wanted to have in this particular hour that you didn't have time for?
Yes, particularly in the Soviet Union, because not only in the Soviet Union were masterpieces made, a famous war film, Come and See, one of the best films I think ever made, but also in the 1980s in the Soviet Union, the films from the 70s and the 60s that had been banned were so slowly starting to be released, so there was this thaw. So this was a period when I was looking at it, which wasn't only about the 80s, it was about earlier pictures that were coming back from the dead, as it were. So there was a lot to look at here and a lot to get in.
Now let me ask you a question. Now you obviously shave every day and you shower and all of that kind of stuff, and you travel all over the world getting these interviews. When do you have time to see these movies that you're so knowledgo about?
Well, I've just
the Chinese films and the ones in Poland and you know, you're everywhere.
I've always watched lots of films, but I also go to lots of film festivals. And in film festivals, as you well know, you often see films that don't get distributed in your own country. So that's a way. And I'm lucky enough to be invited on juries, and so recently I saw all the new films from the Ukraine, and earlier in the year I was invited to Albania to see all the new Albanian films. So it's like you sort of feast on a national cinema, and I think I've got a good visual memory, so I don't lose them, they stay in my head.
That's good.
Ready to be done something to.
Because you do cover a lot of space.
A lot of space.
Yes, you do indeed. Well, let's see what you brought us with this chapter. Here's the premiere of Chapter 12 of The Story of Film and Odyssey, subtitled The 1980s, Movie Making and Protest Around the World.